but let's get started. I think before I truly begin, kind of gotta go into some explanation first as to why I'm doing this. Um, I've been trying to write about virtual reality for almost 2 years now. You know, um, it's always been something I'm passionate about. It's always been something that I've just wanted to know more about, and I wanted to write about it. I wanted to really get into it. Um, it's something I've loved pretty much since the second I got my first headset, and even before I got my first headset, it was already something I had known that I would love. Can you guys see me? You can. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. It's been something that I considered one of the best things to happen to me in a super long time. But the thing about it was, I never really knew what I wanted to say. Every time I thought I had an idea about what this is, why it's so special to me, I was just never able to process it. I was never able to parse it. It wasn't something that made sense to me. Because in my head, I have this idea of what it is. I have this interpretation and this concept. But it's a concept that I've failed to put onto a page since August 2020. If you want any idea as to how long I've been trying, somewhere deep in the file structure of my website, it might not be there anymore, actually. I don't know, it's been a while. But somewhere in the file structure of my website, at one point, there was an unused folder full of sprites for menu buttons. I hand-pixeled them myself, and they were supposed to be used in the blog. The idea was that I'd be writing more than I am, and I'd have them all categorized, so you could jump between posts all you wanted, and keep them sectioned off. And ultimately, that plan never came to fruition. I never once actually went and you wrote enough posts for there to be sections. Typically, if it's its own thing and it needs its own section, I'll just make a new temporary page, like I did for WWDC or the PowerPC Challenge. One of those categories was VR. The initial concept for the jukebox included virtual reality. I wanted to write about it. I wanted to talk about it because there is something so special about this world. Not this world specifically, although this world is pretty cool, don't get me wrong. But there's something so special about this universe, this metaverse, that is magical in ways that I can't describe. But I'm going to try it too. That's the whole point that I'm here today. Because what you guys don't know is that, maybe you do know actually, but what I don't typically verbalize too much is how much VR has helped me in ways that I can't really, I can't tell you how much. The size and the scale, it's something that's so, it looks minuscule on the surface, but it's so underlying that it's impressive, honestly, just how much it's helped and changed me. I thought we should start from the beginning. So why I even got into VR in the first place. And the reason was this game. This here game, VRChat, was the sole reason I got into VR. Many of you, especially those of mine who are vocal synth oriented, are aware of the producer Crusher P, who wrote Echo and did some other stuff with Circus back in the day, and that's a story from another time. But she was somebody I was Patreon to for a really long time. And one day she was doing a stream. She had a virtual panel at a con. This was August 2020, right? I think it was maybe late July, early August. It might have been July 18th specifically, but I'd have to find the date. Anyway, I think it was August 18th or something like early August. I don't know. I don't remember the date. I have to go find the tweets. But she had the stream in VRChat. She had a Valve Index. She had some full body trackers, and she was hosting this virtual con using VRChat. She had the stream camera, like I'm currently holding, which you guys can't see, and using, which is what I'm using now. And it was angled towards OBS, and her entire panel was live streamed from within VR with a model. But later that day, I guess she'd already set it all up. Oh, Parva! I guess I have to apologize. Hello chat. Hello Parva Raiders. Hi. Can we get a shout out for Parva, please? Thank you for tuning in. How you guys doing? Hello Raiders. How are you doing, Parva? Welcome to stream. I'm giving a TED talk. By giving one, I mean I'm making one on the spot about something I've wanted. Like, it's not on the, you know what I mean. Shout out to Parva. Thank you. Ooh, oh, you're doodling, doing some artsy stuff. Fun. How'd that go? How's that going? Model sibling. Yes. Well, not this model. I made this one myself, but yes, model sibling. Hi. Giving a TED talk about VR, which is fitting considering the circumstances. Where was I before I lose my train of thought? Art's going great. Fuck yeah. Good to hear. Well, and get comfy. Enjoy your stay. Thank you for the raid. Where was I? Yes. Okay. So August 18th, she's doing this panel in VR, and date not specified. I'm gonna say August 18th. I might be wrong. Might have been when I got my headset. I don't know. Like it when it came in the mail. I don't remember. Please don't shoot me. She was like, hey, why don't we go all meet up in VR? VRChat after the stream was over. So after the stream was over, we took a few hours. She was getting rested up, I guess. It was probably exhausting, broadcasting to several thousand people, a feeling I will never know. And later that night, she invited us all to VRChat, and we were all hanging out. I thought it was super cool. I've never gotten into VRChat prior, although I'd wanted to back in like 2017. I just never could get into it. Never understood it, never conceptualized it. I think I was too young, really, to like understand the appeal. Especially back then when nobody I knew was playing it. Which is a huge reason to get into VRChat, as to hang out with your friends and make new ones. But also 2017, things were a lot different, both in-game and out of game. But 2020, we're hanging out in VRChat, and at the end of the night, everybody was giving out hugs, like, because they all gotta move their arms and stuff, right? Which was not something I could have done at the time. And it sucked a lot, but whatever. I couldn't give out hugs, but I got a hug. I got a lot of hugs in VR that night, actually. And I felt it. I was on my desktop. I wasn't in VR either. Sorry, but I felt the hug. Like you could feel that. There's something called phantom sense, which is when somebody does something to you in VR and your body in person emulates that feel. I had that feeling at strongest at its desktop, but immediately after that night ended, I think it was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I impulse bought an Oculus Quest. I did like 30 minutes of research and bought a Quest because I'm like, okay, cool. $400, I can swallow that now with my money. Sold a computer. The next day, my old computer sold it off and called it a good one. But what happened was my Oculus Quest came in, and I started playing VRChat. It took a while to get adjusted. It was a hard time, sort of getting used to all of this. And I'm, but it was fun. All of a sudden, there's this virtual world, and I'm a part of it. And I'm hanging out with my friends in a strangely physical space. But that wasn't when I learned to love VRChat and VR in general. That would come months down the line. I would start logging in more and more every day. I'd log in, I'd visit people, I'd check out cool worlds, hang out. I'd mute in public lobbies for a while, but I didn't really have any regulars. In April of 2021, I started joining a few friends from a Discord server in VRChat regularly. And it wasn't then till I was staying up until 5, 6 in the morning talking with people, hanging out with people without taking the headset off, that I was like, oh, I think I get it now. And it's fascinating to me because people are now realizing the power of VR. At least companies are, Facebook with their metaverse, and Facebook with their metaverse, that's kind of the epitome of it, really. Obviously, Valve saw something in VR because they made the index, which is what we're fundraising for, and you can donate to fill the bar. Sorry. But, Meta was like, okay, Facebook's like, we got a metaverse now, and we want this to be the future. But what they don't understand is that the metaverse has existed for years. This is the metaverse. One thing that people, you may not notice, I'm gonna actually move up to the camera for this one. On my sleeve, if you can see it, I guess you can't. I have a badge. That says, not my metaverse. I'm trying to angle it. This camera's a bitch. I hate it. Give me a sec. It's that's the ceiling. There it is. I had this little not my metaverse badge on my shirt since day one of this model, by the way. Literally day one. But let me get the camera back in place. Now that that's out of the way, Facebook was like, oh, we got this metaverse, and this is the metaverse. It's already existed, and it's existed here. It has always existed here. But with Facebook and so many people who have never tried virtual reality, who haven't lived in a world like this, don't understand is that VR is more than the worlds that you are in. It is more than the games you're playing, than the things you're doing. Inherently. This space is worth way more than anything I think I could imagine. I mean, this space specifically, obviously, I'm not talking about that, but this virtual space, it's super cool. But there's so much potential here, and there's so much more than just a virtual world. I'm here in this virtual space, but I'm myself in a way that I can't be in person for safety reasons. Nudge, nudge, you get the gist. It's on my fucking sleeve. But I'm me in this world. And I have friends in this world. And yes, this is just a video game. This is a bunch of polygons and a graphics card coming through a cable to a screen I'm wearing on my face, with a cable dangling from me from 16 feet across the room. Sure, you can boil it down to that, if you really want to. But virtual reality is one of the very few experiences where I know exactly what is going on. Everything about this makes sense. Logically, this is a world being rendered on a graphics card through Unity. That graphics card is then using a DisplayPort cable from my PC to my headset to display this image, and my headset is using the USB signal and the cameras to calculate where it is in this world and move this flat panel in a three-dimensional space. What's on my face is flat. This is a flat screen, and yet it creates the simulation of depth. I know how all of this works. I've spent hours obsessing over it, of wondering, of looking and being amazed. But it's the only world where I know every little thing about how it works. And I'm still able to suspend my disbelief, almost willingly. You know? Because in this world, it's more than just the world. This is more than an avatar. I mean, it is an avatar, but it's more than that. This is me. And VR has helped me be me. I understand my own body language because I can see it. I can see my own body language. I know how I'm moving. I can see my whole body react to my words, and I can use that to talk more effectively, right? I can look at an appearance that I think represents me internally. I can be the person that I can't be in person, IRL. But that's the thing about VRChat that I think makes that so interesting. Because virtual reality is not a replacement for the real world. Yes, this is who I am, and it's the realest interpretation of me there could be. At least in person. Obviously, this is a stream. There's a persona being in play here. You know how all that works, etc., etc. But, this isn't a replacement for the real world. My physical space still exists. I still exist in this physical space. You know, like outside of this headset. I take it off and I'm back. But you can take me out of the world. But the world is still with me. Because this world is more than the models and the code and the scripts and the bugs that it's made out of. Virtual reality is not a replacement for reality. It is an accessory. This is a tool to assist reality, to understand yourself better. Your connections to other people. Make real friends. I have met people I met in VR in person. Oh goddammit, Guardian. And of course, like I said, it comes with the bugs of resetting your Guardian every now and then for no good reason. But it's a real experience. It's a real world. It's not the real world. But the things that we do in this world, they're still real. I mean, I've told you, I've made friends, real friends, who I've met and spoken to in person. And I've had conversations and I've had meals with them, and it's face to face. And yet we still log in every day. We still are in VR. And in a time of quarantine, and when you probably, are a little more isolated than usual, or in current political times where being yourself can be scary and, frankly, taxing. This is really good. It gives people an outlet. But that brings me back to another point that is still related. I want to start tying it all together. I made a joke earlier this stream. A very sort of not offhand joke, but a joke I actually made this joke almost as if to plan. I had this idea. I made a joke about how everybody looks at mirrors all the time. And that's true. I mean, you go into a public lobby and it's all mirrors. There's just model after model after model lined up in front of a mirror. And everybody's like, oh, how narcissistic do you have to be to look into a mirror like that? Just all the time. But it's never been about narcissism. It's never been about that at all. This is my body. Maybe not my physical, real body. There's no skin here. There's skin here, but there's no skin here. But this is my body. I am speaking in a certain way. My body language is still speaking to you. Maybe not directly, but it's still moving. I'm animated. I can see myself animate. I know how I'm portraying myself to others. And I gain a better understanding of that watching myself do it. and looking into that mirror is a almost literal immersion, for a literal interpretation of a famous metaphor of looking into yourself in the mirror. Because you're not looking at your reflection, you're looking at you, a different you. Not the one that you're living, but the one most people would want to be living. And the great thing about virtual reality is that obviously I can't make myself look like this overnight. I probably can't make myself look like this at all without a shit ton of work and money and effort that I don't want to put in. I'm gonna be blunt. But I know who I am, and it's helping me explore that, understand that. Because in virtual reality, I define my identity, and no one else. And then you take that knowledge, you let that knowledge simmer for a really long time. For some people, it takes weeks. Some months, some may never even get the chance to let that knowledge sink in. But you will gain a deeper understanding of yourself, of how you talk, of how you walk, how you move, how you feel, how you look at yourself on a daily basis will change. Eventually. It takes a bit of work. Sometimes you have to really want it, and obviously you're not just gonna stare at yourself for 3 years and wait for it to happen. But you will see it. It is a thing that you will inevitably find out. And when I decided to buy my headset in August of 2020, I wanted to give someone a hug because they had given me one first. I couldn't return it because I was on desktop. That feeling of warm fuzziness that I felt that day, it wasn't physical. There is no physical justification for that ever even happening. Because there was no hug. There was no person in my space who could have touched me then, alone in my bedroom, on a computer. But I still felt it. That feeling was real. That emotion was real. This world is virtual, but this identity, this me, is real. Every friend I've made here is a friend that I still talk to outside of this world. I've done everything in VR. I've made friends. I've slept over. I've had meals. I've watched movies. I have dated and broken up with somebody in the same world, in the same VR chat. Yeah, I've done everything here. But I know that it's not a replacement for what I already have. Instead, this world, as magical as it is, and as impressive as it is, it's a tool, just like the rest of our technology. But it's not a tool to get things done faster. It's not a tool to increase our productivity, or to make everything faster or better, or to make more things. Everybody's like, technology is a tool, and some people don't really understand what that means. You know, they say like, oh, like your phone's a tool. Yeah, it's a tool. It's also a toy. Like, the amount of people who use their phone as a toy is impressively high. Get it? It's good at that. But not everything has to be a productivity tool. There are still tools out there, and VRChat is such a great tool for learning about yourself, for learning more about you. There are so many feelings that I would have never known about myself if I wasn't given the chance to see, physically, literally see, how I act doing every little thing. You know? You put yourself under a magnifying glass, and you start seeing things. Your movement changes, and you gain a better idea of how you're feeling. I'm autistic. I've made that abundantly clear. Again, it's on my sleeve. Wrong sleeve. This sleeve. Oh god, that's the wrong logo. Um, but, um, I'm autistic. I can understand body language better than ever because I know how mine works. In VRChat, I talk with my hands. A lot of people do, and they don't realize it. I talk with my hands, but now I know how I talk with my hands and what I'm trying to convey, or how I can use my hands to emphasize a point, right? And I know now that this thing that I can't control, it just happens, but I know why it happens, I know how it happens, and I know how I can use that to make things better and not hinder me. I know more about who I am and who I'll be, who I want to be. I know the people I want to be with and hang around. Tempest Dawn, who's in chat, I met in this game. Over months ago, actually. We met in this game. It was the first time we'd ever held a conversation. And it was awesome. And now she and I talk all the time. She's in chat frequently. She's a friend. VRChat is the metaverse, and it's not the metaverse that Facebook wants you to believe exists. This is not the corporate hellscape of business meetings, of work and productivity you can now do faster because you don't have physical tools. That's not what it is. This is the metaverse. We built this metaverse with our own tools, with our own hands, free from influence from corporations and companies and figures. We built this because we loved it. VRChat is not about anything else. It's not about the worlds we built. It's not about the avatars we wear. It's about us. We define this platform. We define us. And this platform defines us in a way that we can only help look at it and give back. VRChat will never be about VR. And frankly, sometimes it's not even about the chat. VRChat is about us. This metaverse is about us. And it's about you. And it's about me. This world that we've created from our hands, from tears, from constant struggle with the worst development tools known to man, we built out of passion, we built out of love, we built because we wanted to be here. Because the things that happen here, the experience we have, the feelings we feel, the emotions, are something that can't be described, they can't be replicated. And I think that's the reason I've never been able to put it on a page. Because these are feelings, they're not facts. They are not something that I can say objectively, this is how this makes you feel. You have to feel it and experience it yourself to truly understand why it's so magical, and for every single person that will be different. And even for me, that feeling comes and goes, and when I lose it, it's so hard to put into text of any kind, writing it, typing it. I can't do it. So I'm this train of thought consciousness, like a stream of thought, I'm not thinking before I speak. I'm just letting the words come out. That's what makes this world so special. This VR hellscape. It's a time sometimes, but we built it. We built it because we wanted to, not because we had to, not because this is what we were trying to make our life, but because we wanted to meet people. We wanted to be ourselves. We built this world for us, and in return, the world built us for it. And VRChat is one of those experiences that you truly do have to experience to understand. But I hope that was a good breather as to why I think this world is so special. Why it's worth defending. I pay $10 a month for this game. For not very many new features. Actually, no real noticeable new features. But it's either I fund it, or the corporations fund it. I don't think any of us will sit here and take this laying down. We're not letting this world become commercialized without a fight. This world is about us. It was never about anyone else. And this world can be about you too. Just like it was for me, and like it will always be for me. Even when I'm not in the game, the effects that it has on my daily life are absolutely profound and unavoidable. Can't avoid them. They're everywhere. And that is why I love this forsaken, uncomfortable, badly lit headset. Because the headset is just a gateway to a world that is real. It may be virtual, but it doesn't change the feelings or the emotions or the senses. The good times, the bad times, the identities found, the friendships made, the games we played. This is the world. And it's our world. It's not anyone else's. But it's our world to build, it's our world to take, it's our world to live in and to find ourselves into. And I think that we could all use a little more weird, obscure TED Talk worlds and strange Sonic the Hedgehog strip clubs in our life, because that absurdity is something that you just can't get anywhere else. Because that kind of stuff comes from the heart. That's not something you make for profit. That's something you make from the heart. Pure unbridled creativity. And all of that self-expression, that's why VR is so good. Because as fake as this reality is, the person behind it is even more real than ever. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Woo. Is K.O.D.A having a TED Talk about Sonic? No, I'm not. I'm rambling about something I've wanted to ramble for a while. Just now I'm doing it in a world. I've always wanted to give a TED Talk. I might as well, right? You know? Like, look at me. Standing next to the TED sign. So I've always wanted to do that. You know? It's real. But yeah, no, I think those are all my thoughts. I am never writing those down. I honestly feel like trying to write it down, you lose something, you know? Like, it's not the same. It's trying to synthesize a raw experience. Or natural, free-form experience. It's trying to put like liquid, you know, into a. I'm trying to put a cute. I don't know. Long story short, it's a bunch of feelings and emotions that you can't really put on paper. And once you put them on paper, they lose any and all weight. So I feel like they're better said through voice. Also, my stream of thought makes writing that, like, you can understand why, like, my stream of thought would make that really hard to write and, like, structure, because it's not structured at all. But yeah, thanks for putting that in the words. And so, thank you. I wanted to say it for a while, and I figured this was, like, the best time to do it. Because everybody's like, oh, why do you want to stream VRChat so much? Why are you asking for such an absorbent amount of money? Because this world is special. And there's not only is there content to be made, but I can be myself. I can literally just hang out with chat in a way that I don't think I ever could with a webcam or, hell, a 2D model, where I can only move my head and my eyes and toggle stuff on a stream deck. Although I do love that model, I'm not gonna lie, it's really cute. I kind of wish I could make it 3D. But yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening.